Hi there, my name is Emma. This is Juliet. Welcome to this vlog and welcome to our channel. My channel. This is my first reading vlog back from my hiatus. It is currently Monday, August 16th. I've just finished a few books recently, which I think I'll just talk about in my August wrap up. One of them was The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Totally loved it. Thought it was great. So I'm currently reading two books, one physical and one audio on Scribd. So my audiobook on Scribd is I'll Be Gone in the Dark by McNamara, which is about her obsessive search for the Golden State Killer. And the Golden State Killer, since Michelle's death and since the publishing of the book, has been caught. He is now deceased, but I'm really loving listening to the book. I love Michelle's voice. I love, not her physical voice because she's not narrating the audiobook, but her writing voice. I love hearing how they piece together just some of her notes because she was not able to finish the book before she passed away, sadly, in 2016. And so she had some people helping her out. Her researchers as well as her husband finished the book, and so they have some like editor's notes of, you know, this was pieced together from this conversation. This is a transcript of Michelle talking to so-and-so, and I really love that. I also love the incorporation of Michelle's personal life into the narrative of the Golden State Killer because it has affected her. It affected her so much in her childhood, in her teenage and adult life that it's like the story of the Golden State Killer is intertwined with Michelle's life story. And so I love hearing those together. And then physically, I am reading The 10,000 Doors of January by Alix E. Harrow. I am really enjoying this. I read The Once and Future Witches by Alix E. Harrow, which was super hyped up on BookTube last fall. And that is her second book, but this is her debut novel. And so I am really enjoying it. It reminds me a lot of The Starless Sea. The Starless Sea and the Wayward Children series kind of all have that same vibe of being about doors into other universes. But right now I am still in the exposition section of the story. It hasn't really fully picked up yet, but it is still really good. And I believe it's a standalone. Yeah, so I'm on page 100. Page 142 of The 10,000 Doors of January. It is called The 10,000 Doors of January because January is the main character's first name, and in this world there are 10,000 doors exactly to other worlds, and so that's just what this is all about. I thought my cat meowed at me, sorry. This is like The Starless Sea, but in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And January is a person of color. She also has like a governess type character who is also a woman of color. And so far it's been really interesting to see kind of the types of discrimination that I have read about in nonfiction books and in history books written about from like a kind of first-hand fictional narrative perspective. That's really interesting. So I'm really enjoying all of that. And obviously, I mean, Alix E. Harrow's writing is just gorgeous, and her covers are beautiful as well. I know that's not all up to her, but you know, she does a good job with picking covers, or at least her publishers do. I'm not entirely sure how that works. But anyway, those are the books that I'm reading right now. I am currently home from work for lunch. I come home, I work very close to home. And so I come home from the office for an hour every day to have lunch and hang out with my cat. So my plans for the week are to go to work, go to the Y. I am a member of the YMCA in my area, and try to get this book read as well as get, oh, there she is. As well as get I'll Be Gone in the Dark listened to and try to move on to another book soon. Come here. Come on. All right, peace. I'll update soon. of the internet. I just came home from work. So today was not a very busy day at work today in the least. And so I did get a good bit of reading done. I finished I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. Patton, her husband's chapter at the end, almost had me in tears. And then I also got some physical reading done of the 10,000 Doors of January, and I think I'm about halfway through this. So let's talk about I'll Be Gone in the Dark first. I put 5 stars on my little B-roll clip. Can I say that it might be one of the most beautiful pieces of nonfiction work I've ever read? I can say that, and I will. It was amazing. I just got really I don't know why I thought about it, but I just got really self-conscious about my lights back here. 3 of the bulbs are out. Do you want to go? Yes? Okay, have fun. I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. Like I mentioned earlier, I love the memoir plus true crime nonfiction element of it. I thought that was really awesome, really well done, very well combined and mixed together. I have to say that I remember a couple years ago in 2018 when the GSK was caught, Joseph DeAngelo, and this case as a whole, the Visalia ransacker, East Area rapist, Golden State Killer, original Night Stalker, has been one that has captured my attention in particular, especially since I was just coming into the world of true crime as an 18-year-old when he was caught. And so reading this book was a revelation. It was incredible. The voice actress who read the book was amazing. She sounds like what I would imagine Michelle sounded like, even though that may get ruined for me because I probably am going to try to watch some interviews if I can find some with Michelle. But Michelle passed away. I didn't know what she died from, but Michelle passed away in her sleep from an accidental prescription drug overdose combined with an undiagnosed heart condition. So she died peacefully, thankfully, but she died with her work unfinished, and she died in 2016 without seeing the GSK caught, who was the man that she hunted her entire life. And the chapter that her husband wrote and read at the end of the book, talking about just what a wonderful person she was and how meaningful it was and how sad it was when he found out that Joseph DeAngelo was named the Golden State Killer and Michelle wasn't there to witness it. I almost cried, you guys. I almost cried right there in my little cubicle. I didn't, but I was close. But yeah, I really loved the book. I want to get a copy of it. That's every audiobook that I listen to that I really love. I want a copy of it to hold and touch. But I think from this point, do you want up again? I think from this point, I may be doing some more personal internet research into GSK, just because the cases are so fascinating. There's just so many of them, but they're all the same in a way. And do more research into the victims as well, because Michelle did a good job of keeping the victims at the forefront. But I would still like to know more about the victims than what she was able to include, because there are so many victims. And then I got some physical reading done on the 10,000 Doors of January. I think the story is starting to kind of come together for me now. This, like I said, is a lot like the Starless Sea, where there's a main narrative, which is January Scholar's narrative, which I found out her last name is pronounced Scholar. And then there's the 10,000 Doors book that she is reading. It's a comfort thing for her as she goes through different really tough hardships. I'm really loving both January's story and both the 10,000 Doors story. I think if they were separate, I don't think either of them could work on their own. I don't think either of them would be interesting enough, but the way that they're starting to meld together is making this a really captivating read. Anyway, I also started listening to The Lost Apothecary. I've gotten a bit of a taste of it. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with that. I'm gonna kind of try to make those decisions tonight of what I'm going to go forth with now that I have finished I'll Be Gone in the Dark. But I usually go to the Y after work, like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, something like that. And today is Monday, but I am not feeling it. So I just came home. I'm just gonna relax, like read in bed. I'm super tired for some reason, not sure why. I'm excited about tonight, and I'm gonna try to take some good B-roll, so roll that now. Tuesday afternoon, and I am home from work after getting a COVID test, because I found out after checking my email over the weekend on Monday that there's some people who were in my office late last week who normally don't really work very closely with me. 2 people tested positive for COVID-19 with their vaccinations and their masking and all of that good stuff. So I decided to go ahead and get a COVID test as soon as I could, which was today at 2:45. And you are supposed to quarantine after your COVID test, which I didn't know because the last time I got tested was in December. So apparently that's part of the rules now. So I am home with the cat and with my work computer, hoping to get some emails. Where I am on my work day right now is like I can't do anything else until I get emails or messages back from people. So I've kind of just got my email open over there, and I'm waiting, and I'm gonna do other things like keep reading this book. So I made some notes on this book last night while I was reading. And first of all, I want to recognize that I forgot to say this has a very nice buttery cover. Hold on, I need to take a drink of water before we get into this. So I made a couple of notes last night while reading the 10,000 Doors of January that I thought were super like profound in the middle of the night. I'm not sure if they are, but a lot of them were parallels that I noticed in the writing and the story construction between the 10,000 Doors of January and the Once and Future Witches. I don't know if you saw that, but my lights just flickered. One thing that I like about Alix E. Harrow's work and her story construction is that she takes the history and social context of like the kind of early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s, and puts magic in it, and then lets the historical and social context that she's using be the boundaries that the magic is constrained to. She doesn't build a whole new world for this magic to exist in. She uses our real American history to serve as the backdrop for this. So it's kind of like magical historical fiction. I guess it is historical fiction. but it's not like focused on the events of history like a historical fiction book like The Book Thief is. It's not focused on the events of history, it's focused on the fantasy, but the fantasy and the characters and the magic are all constrained by the history that she chooses. And I think for these kinds of stories that she's written, and I think she's coming out with another book in October, which I will be pre-ordering if I can, or getting my hands on the day that it comes out, which is October 5th. The historical contexts that she chooses and the time periods of the late 1800s, early 1900s in America are perfect for this precise kind of magic that she's using. I'm not sure if this is coherent, but I'm getting back into the swing of talking about books out loud rather than just thinking about them in my head. The time periods that she chooses for her work are perfect. The way that I believe she used to be a historian. She is an ex-historian. She seems to know the time periods really well. The time period that she's using. She seems to know it really well, really intimately, and is able to sort of not really name drop, but sort of make calculated references so you know exactly what kind of lifestyle within this time period that she's talking about and building. As January was growing up, she, at the beginning of the book, has I was almost 8. This had happened in England and this had just happened in America and this book had just come out. And then 2 paragraphs later it was, I was almost 11. This book had just come out and this had just happened in England, and like things like that. So she's very good at anchoring you in the time period that she's talking about and knows that time period very intimately. So now I have about 170 or so pages left. But last night when I was about halfway through, I thought it was really interesting that up until that point, a lot of the story is revealing how January came to be as a person, like talking about her parents and stuff like that. After the halfway point, which I got to today, which I was reading today, it really does pick up really fast, and it starts to move really quickly into January's new story, where she is taking control of her life that has felt totally out of her control and has really been totally out of her control up until this point. She takes total control of it. She's using her magic. She's getting to know people. She's making relationships with them that are really meaningful. She's hurting people. She's helping people. She really starts at the halfway point of the book. Once you have the exposition that you need, which I do think that you really needed the first half, all of the information that came in the first half. Once you have that, January she just starts moving. I am really enjoying it, and I actually really don't know what's gonna happen at the end because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of space left, and a lot of stuff needs to happen. She's a very interesting character. She's somebody who you can tell has a lot of potential, but has been abandoned and abused and mistreated so much that it's really hard for her to have any kind of reaction that isn't a trauma response. I'm really loving seeing her get her footing more as she learns who she is and where she came from. She really settles into an identity, and it allows her to sort of move past that kind of trauma response, everything I do is a trauma response kind of situation. That TikTok thing is like, I just found out my whole personality is a trauma response. So anyway, I haven't listened to any audiobook today. I have been listening to Tenfold More Wicked by Kate Winkler Dawson, her series, The Body Snatcher. I've been listening to that. And to some lo-fi beats as I finish up this book, and then I'm looking through my Scribd library to see what I have to listen to on audio. I will keep you updated as I go along. You look crazy. no. That's... Okay, hello, season's greetings, party people. It is Wednesday after work. I just got home, took a wasp outside, very exciting. And this is the third time I've tried to film this clip. Last night, the first time I tried to film it, I realized that I had not been filming at all. Second time, I looked at it this morning, and you know how like on your phone, like the slow-mo function is right next to video? Turns out I had recorded the whole thing in slow-mo. So this is my third attempt. I'm gonna try to keep it concise, keep it moving. So I found out that the regulation where if you're waiting for COVID test results, you have to quarantine is for non-vaccinated people. So I did go into work today. It's a very small office, just a couple of people, and I have my own little space. So I went into the office today. Now I'm home. So that's the update on that. I'm still waiting for my test results. I know that I was exposed, but I really don't think that I caught it just because of how little contact I had with the person who had COVID-19 when they were in my office. They were having a meeting that I was not involved in, and I like walked through at one point. That's kind of the situation. So then last night I scoured Scribd and put some more audiobooks in my Scribd back pocket, as it were. So those are ready to go, but I actually decided to keep listening to The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, and I'm really enjoying it. So there are 3 different character perspectives, and they're all narrated by a different voice actor, which I'm really enjoying. There's also 2 different time periods that are converging and overlapping with the story. The modern day timeline is about a woman named Caroline who is on her 10th anniversary trip to London, but without her husband. She has discovered a horrible secret about her husband and about their marriage, and has decided to go on her 10th anniversary trip to London on her own, in which she goes mudlarking and discovers a really cool thing in the Thames that links her to the past story about a woman who runs a secret apothecary for women's problems. So it's either like abortive drugs or fertility drugs or poisons for abusive or cheating husbands, all kinds of things like that. And a young girl who comes across her path and is fascinated by her craft and wants to learn the trade. So those are the stories that are interweaving in The Lost Apothecary, and it's really great. I'm really enjoying it. And then last night I finished 2 things. So I finished a podcast series I was listening to. I finished Tenfold More Wicked Season 2, which is a podcast by Kate Winkler Dawson and produced by Exactly Right Media, which is the production company that is owned by the My Favorite Murder ladies, Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark. I listened to Season 2 of Tenfold More Wicked called The Body Snatcher, which is about Burke and Hare, who are infamous serial killers. And I want to say mid-1800s, but I'm actually not sure, which is kind of embarrassing because it was like a lengthy podcast series. But they were men who, with their wives, killed people and then sold their bodies to an anatomist named Dr. Knox, who was purchasing bodies for the purpose of using them in his very expensive private surgeon student lectures. So it was a really great podcast. Kate Winkler Dawson has a wonderful voice, as well as all of the like Londoners and North English people and the Irish people and the Scots who are all in the podcast as interviewees. All the voices all around, just incredible. And if you're not queasy, go give it a listen. And then last night I also finished The 10,000 Doors of January by Alix E. Harrow. This was really great. I really enjoyed it. A lot of the story was an exposition towards the main like bulk of the plot, which happened in the last half, but that exposition was still really interesting. I don't know that it would be for everybody because it is so slow at the beginning, and I would say it is a very self-contained story. There is a main character in this book who's a dog. Love that. Women of color. Love it. I think I'd probably give this a 3.5, 3.75. It was really good. Not an all-time favorite. It's definitely something I would recommend, but it's something that I would recommend hesitantly just because I don't think that this would be something that a lot of other people would enjoy, but I really enjoyed it. So I think 3.5, 3.75, if that makes any sense. And then next today I picked up while I was at work, which it was actually a pretty busy day, so I only got to read one chapter and then I listened to some of the Lost Apothecary while I was doing like some more menial tasks at work. But I did start House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. Get that beautiful cover on it. I don't read with my dust jackets on because I don't want to rip or ruin or damage them in any way, so I leave my dust jackets on the bookshelf and just take the hardcover around with me. But a couple things about this. So I really love the idea of this book. The summary, basically what I know about the summary is it's like gritty urban true crime fantasy vibes with all the different kind of magical creatures that you could want. It's giving me, like, the synopsis gives me very like elevated Shadowhunter true crime vibes. But I don't have a good history with Sarah J. Maas, so I have read 2 of the Throne of Glass books and bought the 3rd one and just never read it because it was just not my thing. I don't know what it was, but it just never caught my attention. I liked the first one well enough, so I read the second one, and then after that I was like, I don't need to read it anymore. Same with A Court of Thorns and Roses, except I got like 50 pages into A Court of Thorns and Roses and was just like, not it. So I may, depending on how this goes for me, I may go back and try to read her other stuff. But I'm really hoping that I'm gonna like this because the idea of this sounds a lot more up my alley than those other 2 series. Yeah, so this week I have been like crazy tired and anxious for some reason, and maybe part of my tiredness is all the anxiety. Could be, very, very possible. I'll see you again when I have another update. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day, happy first vlog. Back from hiatus. Happy Wednesday evening? No, it's Thursday evening. I just wanted to share with you the reading update that I have. I've listened to a lot of The Lost Apothecary today, and I only have about an hour and 20 minutes left. There are some parts of the writing that kind of take me out of the story. There is some like over description of things rather than just saying like, I grabbed this. It'll be like, I reached out my right hand and clasped my fingers around whatever. Which it can just be a little like tedious and a bit annoying, but it's not enough to really like dock the book points for me. I am just really enjoying the dual timeline. I love a dual timeline. I like the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. I love a triple timeline. Like, I think that it just increases the suspense of a story so much when instead of just telling one of the timelines, you're letting the reader put together the puzzle of the 2 or 3 different ones. And you have to be a great writer to do a dual or triple timeline. Before I forget, I also wanted to put out trigger warnings for marital infidelity and also unaliving yourself. I would say if you're very, very sensitive, this book's probably a no-go just because of that component. But if you're moderately to lightly sensitive to it, I would say you're fine. I will probably give you another update when I finish it on how I felt about the ending as well as the star rating, which will probably be tomorrow. Hi, happy Sunday. Today I am spending the majority of the day working on YouTube stuff, recording videos, and I'm going to edit this vlog as well as try to get some Crescent City done. For right now, I want to go ahead and give you my final thoughts on The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. So I was like melancholy on the book at the beginning, and then by the middle I was like, oh, this is really exciting, this is intriguing, I like this a lot. And the end blew me away. I totally adored the book. There are a couple of things with the writing. I'll go ahead and get them out of the way. So like I mentioned the other day, some of the action descriptions were just a bit too detailed. But then there was also some really strong themes that Sarah Penner wanted to convey. It was a lot about making choices in your life for yourself rather than making choices for yourself and for your passions rather than for the purpose of security or for someone else in your life. It was really inspirational. Like genuinely, I was inspired by the themes of the book. The only problem that I had with the themes were just the way that they were presented. So there was just a lot of over-explaining the advice and wisdom that she wanted to impart through the book. She just kept reiterating it in plain terms, which I didn't think was necessary because she did such a good job of making her meaning obvious through the plot and the character development. There wasn't really a need to like reiterate those themes and those ideas. That didn't take too much away from it for me. I think the book is gonna be like a 4.5. It's really hard for me to nail down a specific star rating. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for 4 to 4.5 stars. I think it's definitely a book that I will be recommending to people. I don't know if I would consider it necessarily an all-time favorite, but I will definitely be recommending it to people. I'll definitely be trying to go and get a copy so that I can have it in my little library and lend it out to friends who I think should read it. I will close out this vlog later. Hopefully I'll have a reading update, but we'll see. Only time will tell. Oh, also I started listening to A Faux Love Story. I don't know if I'm gonna continue with it right now. Anyway, we'll see. Bye. All right, hello everyone. Happy Sunday evening. I just wanted to pop in and close out the vlog. I had a really good and productive day. I have not set foot outside my apartment and talked to basically no one. I was watching an episode of Criminal Minds and texted one of my Criminal Minds friends about it, but that's the extent of the human interaction that I've had today, which has been good soup, which has been really nice. There was a time a while ago where I was questioning if I was actually an introvert, and I think I think after today, there's no question. So tonight I'm going to read some more of Crescent City and get ready for another week of work. But right now I am still listening to A Faux Love Story by Lone Lay. It is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, YA contemporary about two teenagers whose families run rival pho shops. And I'm in love already with both of the characters, with their awkwardness, and just with the Vietnamese language and culture that's being included in the book, and just the switches from Vietnamese to English. It reminds me of my Vietnamese friend from high school and going over to her house, and just the amazing food, and just her mom was so wonderful. And she actually has the same name as the female main character, which is kind of crazy. I'm listening to season 1 of Tenfold More Wicked right now, in terms of podcasting, reading House of Earth and Blood, and A Faux Love Story. So that is gonna be all for this vlog. Are you gonna say goodbye? Don't mind the cat grooming herself, but thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it, I hope you are doing well, and I hope that you love what you're reading.